Alfonso, I think you're touching on it there at the end.
Of course. Oh, to the mic. Yeah.
At the end of your talks. But I guess the thing that's on my mind is, in your mind, what is the primary thing that distinguishes you from your opponent in this particular race?
That's a great question. A couple of things, actually. One is my experience. I've done everything from a parking ticket to a murder. Every case in between. Anything you can think of, I've either sat second chair and prosecuted or I've defended it. The other thing is how I run the office. I really think currently the district attorney's office is not living up to its full potential. There are tons of issues that would fall onto my desk as the DA that aren't necessarily my problems to solve, or I don't have the tools to solve them. But I need to be accountable to the county and then hold other leaders accountable for those things. It may not be in my wheelhouse or my tool set to stop homelessness, but eventually it falls on my desk. And the only solution I have is jail. So I need to be the face of the community when they're asking me why this is happening and have an answer for them. I went to the cities. I went to the city council. I went to the mayor. I went to the commissioner's courts. I went to Austin and talked to the state. They need to solve this problem that I'm only band-aiding. There's doing the job and then doing it right. And right now they're just doing the job. And not even the bare minimum sometimes. Anybody else?
All right, Alfonso, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I am a defense attorney for a couple specialty courts in Williamson County, and we've noticed that with the specialty courts, we really do see a transition with our defendants. We call them participants. So we offer them particular services. It's different than probation because it's more specialized. So I'm curious what kind of diversion programs in specialty courts Hays County has, and if you intend to try to implement anything else in that arena.
So, after I left you, I went to McLennan County to work for a wonderful judge there, and we set up their first diversion court. We set up their very first DWI and drug court because we were addressing it as a sickness. Certain people just cannot handle it. So we need to help them. That's great. Hays County is also trying to get a DWI and drug court off the ground. Currently, we have a mental health court. And I will support and facilitate those things the best I can. Also, we have pretrial diversion, right? Just because you don't have a special diagnosis or just because you don't have this disease doesn't necessarily mean all of those options are off the table for you. And I'm glad you bring that up because those are being touted out as the successes right now. And I love diversion programs. But those are for individuals that are still fully functioning. They can jump through the hoops that I put in front of them. They can go to basically probation. They can go to the meetings. They can do the tasks that we assign them. While those are being touted in front of our community as successes, which they are, it's really distracting from other people, the ones that cannot jump through those hoops, the ones that are mentally and legally incompetent, that are wasting away in my jails, that can't facilitate those problems. Again, I said we need to go to other people to prevent those things. So I can do prosecution, I can do pretrial diversion, I can do diversion court, but all that's reactionary. What I want is to be the face of the community to prevent some of these things from happening. If I can stop some of these things from happening, then I won't have the people that diversion won't help. I've had mental health clients sit in jail for over a year, waiting for a bed, simply so they can understand what they're being charged with. A diversion court won't help them. Diversion courts are symptoms of issues we have in our community at large, and I want to head them on both fronts. Diversion, proactive behavior. I need more questions. The band needs to take a break. It's hot out here. They've been singing. I know you had a question.
I do.
Please come up after her, answer my question, please. I need help.
Can you speak to some of the proactive strategies that you were talking about? Can you expand a little bit more about that?
So proactive strategies are very, very difficult because first I have to find the members of my community that need help. Then I need to find the members of the community and my leaders that can help them. Again, things that are falling on my desk as a district attorney that I can't do anything about or unequipped with tools. That comes from law enforcement, that comes from teachers, that comes from therapists. San Marcos is trying to build, they haven't named it yet, but essentially a center that will help the community at large. Again, I sound like a downer, but that's great for those individuals that can get to that place, that will know that they're having an issue and bring themselves there, or have a loved one or a family member or someone else bring them there. I need to be in that nexus of when the life is so bad for that person, they don't understand they need to get to that place. And then I need to have people in power and positions that can get them to that place before it devolves out into violence or crimes or self-medication or anything of that nature. So realistically, what I want to do is be the middleman to solve the problem. I may not be able to solve everything, but I'll make enough noise that somebody will.
Hello, Alfonso. Thank you for bringing us together. My question is more about accountability. It really is like around the Epstein files. It seems like a lot of people with money can get justice work for them in any kind of way, where people who are not going to take it to the Supreme Court or even to the appeals court can sometimes rot in jail. Just some of your thoughts on how those people can get equal justice under your administration. Thank you.
Thank you. So, like I said, experience, right? I grew up impoverished. I grew up with my groceries showing up in a brown bag that didn't have a store label on it. I had hand-me-downs and all of that good stuff. I know what it's like to be the small person. The law's supposed to be the great equalizer. Accountability is what I'm running on specifically outside of my experience. I'm not running as an office. I'm not running per se as a party here or there. I'm running as me. I'm standing in front of everybody as me because when a question needs answering, this is the face you can come to. Protecting people that you know have done wrong is unacceptable. So with the Epstein files, specifically with our FBI director, who went on an entire press tour saying that he was going to release the things that he has, and now that he's in charge that he can't, that may be true. But he's not giving the people an answer as to why. Right? I may make a decision as the DA that the community might not like, but I'll always explain why. You'll know where I'm coming from. You'll know why I did what I did. And I'll listen to, I didn't like that because. Maybe I'll learn something, or maybe it's just one of those things that my hands are tied on. But you will always get an answer from me. Sure.
Mr. Salazar, thank you for being here. It means a lot to me. I do live here in Haines County. A couple that you've already answered two of my questions. I'm pretty sure you're pro-police and pro-military. I'm still serving the great state of Texas and in the U.S. Army, so thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
I am currently a law enforcement officer and a mental health officer. So my take, what's happened in the last several years, including Travis County, officers are bringing evidence to the DA, nothing's getting done, it's being swept under the rug. Yes, there are good cops, there are bad cops. Are you willing to work with the local sheriff's department and local PD to prosecute these criminals?
Yeah, thanks. So I'm glad you said that. Standing up here right now, as a defense attorney, you're 100% correct. There are way more good cops than there are bad cops. And I see them every single day. The problem is, they don't get highlighted the way the bad ones do. Yeah, I work with the sheriff, and I've told him to his face personally. One of our problems that you're mentioning right now is a disconnect between the community at large and law enforcement. Somehow, some way, sometime in the last decade, it became you versus us and us versus them. Most of the community tells me that the bad cops have eroded their trust in law enforcement. When I talk to my law enforcement guys, they say we're doing a great job. These people won't help us. These people don't trust us. So they're both telling me the same thing. A while back, I asked to be sent to the national convention, and I asked to get to do the voting for our president for our party. And when I gave that speech, I said, I'm coming unencumbered and unendorsed. And some people were like, why? That's crazy. You need people's support. And what I told them was, I want to champion for everybody. So if I have a personal, let's say I'm a Cowboys fan, and I'm going around trying to convince everybody that the Cowboys are the greatest team in the NFL. Most people aren't going to believe me because I have an agenda, right? I'm trying to push this thing. So as a defense attorney, I'm right in the center. And I told the sheriff, I will help you grow that trust that you're asking for. By watching everything you do, highlight all the great things you do. But if I have an officer step out of line, his badge is not going to save him. Just like the community at large, right? On Monday, I am your best friend because you were a victim of a crime, and I am championing for you, and I am finding justice, and I am making sure that the community is safe. Because a lot of people don't understand that these cases don't belong to the victims or to the defendants. They belong to everybody. It's Hays County versus so-and-so. It's the state of Texas versus so-and-so. Because what I need to do is make sure that the community at large is safe, and that the defendant and the victim never step foot in my courtroom again for those reasons. So just like with people, on Monday I'm your best friend, step out of line on Tuesday, I'm your worst enemy. And that goes exactly the same for the police. Do your job, bring me what I need, follow the rules, and we'll get along just fine.
Hey, Alfonso, I don't practice primarily in Hays County, but my question to you is, you just mentioned in your speech that you assisted in electing the current DA. My question to you is, are you going to continue having males people in their roles currently, or are you going to sweep in and bring in some of your own people?
That's a good question, because a lot of people are worried about that, right? If we elect somebody from the outside, what's going to happen? So when I was still in the military, I just graduated from UT, and I wanted to be an officer. I had learned so much as an enlisted member, I wanted to be an officer. So I submitted my package, and I sat down with a general and 2 colonels, and they looked me dead in the face and said, you're gonna make a great officer, just not here. And I was offended. And he goes, hold on, let me explain myself. And so he goes, you'll never be able to change this place because you helped build this place. All the things you did when you were in E1 and E2 and E3, with your E1s, E2s, and E3s, and your sergeants, it's never gonna go away. They're not gonna see you as the new captain. They're gonna see you as Tech Sergeant Sally. If you wanna be an officer here, you can go away for 4 to 8 years, and then come back. And enough time will have passed where they'll take you seriously. And that's how I'm looking at this office. Someone from the outside needs to come in with new perspectives, but also an open mind. There's a lot of great prosecutors in the Hays County District Attorney's Office right now because they graduated from the same law school I did. They're notorious for poaching Baylor Law School students. There's also some ones that might need a little more direction, and there are also some that just need to be let go. But that's with any job. But I'll come in first, I'll learn, I'll listen, and once I know what's happening, I'm gonna shape the office into what's best for Hays County.